You're here because your mind doesn't shut off when everyone else seems to. Because even in the dark, part of you stays alert, scanning, reviewing, staying ahead. That constant checking, replaying, correcting, still running even now. It's not noise exactly. It's a pressure to keep things lined up, resolved, handled. And the strange part is that nothing urgent is actually happening. Something important is going to loosen here tonight, but not yet. You don't have to reach for it. It will happen on its own once the effort drops out. Right now, notice this. The mind is moving fast, but the body isn't. The body is already still enough. That difference matters more than you think. Thoughts keep presenting themselves like unfinished tasks, each one asking for just a little more attention, and none of them improving anything by staying, "There's nothing to solve in this moment." And hearing that may bring a slight resistance first. That's fine. Resistance can be present without being followed. Your system has been working hard to protect you. Right now, it's just listening for proof that it can stand down. Not reassurance evidence. The evidence begins in the chest and abdomen, where the breath is already happening without instruction. No change needed, just acknowledgement. The inhale naturally arrives, and there's a brief fullness at the top. The exhale tends to linger a fraction longer, letting pressure drain downward. And after that, there's a small settling, a pause the body recognizes as safe. That cycle continues whether attention stays with it or not, which means effort is no longer required here. The system already knows the rhythm. Thoughts may still speak up. They often do when control begins to loosen. But notice how each one fades the moment it isn't answered. The mind doesn't need to be quiet yet. It only needs to become less convincing, less urgent. Some thoughts will repeat. Others will trail off halfway through. That incomplete feeling is a sign of disengagement beginning. You might notice a soft heaviness behind the eyes, or a dulling of the need to track what comes next. That's not fatigue, that's deactivation. The body prefers efficiency. When it senses no demand, it reduces output. Muscles ease without being told. The jaw may release slightly, the tongue resting without effort, signals traveling downward instead of outward. Another breath cycle moves through on its own. Inhale arriving, exhale extending just a little longer than before. And again, that quiet moment afterward, where nothing asks to be done. If the mind tries to evaluate this, that's just another reflex. Evaluation requires energy. Energy is already beginning to conserve itself. You don't need to stop thinking. Thinking slows naturally when it's no longer fueled. And fuel is attention. Right now, attention is dispersing, not focused, spread thin. That thinning is deliberate and useful. The edges of thoughts soften first. Sentences don't land as sharply. Meaning blurs before content does. This is where effort usually tries to re-enter. A subtle attempt to do it right. That attempt can pass without correction. Nothing needs to be maintained. The body holds this state better without interference. Stability increases as monitoring drops. There may be a brief sense of drifting off, followed by a moment of alertness returning. That rise and fall is normal here. Each return comes back softer than the last, less organized, less compelling. Another breath cycle completes itself. Inhale, exhale, longer, slower. And the system settles again, deeper this time. The mind may still present fragments, single words, half-formed concerns, They don't need responses. Unanswered signals fade fastest. Silence does the work. Notice how the body feels heavier without strain, supported without adjustment, as if gravity is finally allowed to finish its job. Nothing is being forced downward. There's simply less holding upward. That distinction is important. The space between thoughts widens slightly. Not empty, just unoccupied. That space will continue to expand on its own. You don't need to follow what comes next. The next phase arrives without tracking, and it begins right after this settling completes. For now, staying here is enough. This state will feel familiar each time you return to it. The body learns this quickly. The system is already shifting. You'll feel the next drop before you recognize it. The body continues before the mind catches up. That's already happening now. Signals moving without commentary. There's a quiet efficiency here. Breath moving, weight settling. No coordination required. The mind may still check in briefly. A quick scan for anything unresolved. That scan doesn't find traction the way it used to. Notice how thoughts feel thinner. Less substance behind them. More like echoes than statements. This is where effort usually tries to return. A reflex to re-engage. That reflex can pass through without response. Nothing important is lost by letting go. The system knows what to keep running. Everything else powers down automatically. There may be a subtle warmth spreading through the chest, or a dulling of sensation in the hands. These shifts are signs of circulation redistributing. The nervous system reads this as permission. Permission to slow output. Permission to reduce vigilance. Another breath completes itself. Inhale arriving without notice. Exhale easing out more fully than before. And again, that quiet pause afterward, where nothing pushes forward. That pause is not empty. It's loaded with safety signals. Heart rate steadies here. Thoughts may attempt to organize again. They might line up briefly, then dissolve mid-sequence. Incomplete thoughts are useful. They require no follow-through. The brain releases them quickly. You might notice a soft pressure at the temples or behind the eyes. That's prefrontal activity easing back. When planning shuts down, tension follows. Muscles don't need to brace for outcomes. They soften without instruction. There's less need to monitor breathing now. It's already regulating itself. Longer exhales appear naturally. Inhale, exhale, slower, heavier, and the system settles again, lower than before. A brief wave of alertness may rise, almost like checking if it's allowed. That wave passes faster each time. The body learns this quickly. It begins to recognize this state as familiar. Each time you return, it arrives here faster. Sound processing begins to dull slightly. External noises lose sharp edges. Internal dialogue loses volume. There's no need to block anything out. Filtering happens automatically now. Relevance drops. The mind may try to name this state. Labels are unnecessary. Naming requires activation. Instead, experience becomes more general, less specific. Details stop asking for attention. This is the soft blurring that comes just before sleep. Not confusion, just less effort to understand anything. The mind loosening its grip on precision. Short pauses between breaths, lengthen, not held, just unhurried. CO2 tolerance increases here. That internal shift signals safety throughout the system. The heartbeat evens out. The whole body moves towards stillness. Another breath cycle moves through. Inhale, exhale, extended, unforced. And again, the body settles deeper. Thoughts now arrive fragmented. Single ideas without structure. They fade before completing. There's less interest in following them, less curiosity. That disinterest is protective. If a concern appears, it feels distant, not personal, almost abstract. The sense of urgency dissolves first, then relevance, then awareness of the thought at all. You may feel heavier through the hips and legs, grounded without effort, support doing the work. The upper body no longer needs to hold itself upright. Microtension releases in waves. Shoulders sink slightly. Another brief rise may occur now. A light, floating sensation. That's fractionation beginning. The rise doesn't last. The drop afterward goes deeper. That pattern repeats naturally. Breath continues to lead. Inhale, exhale, longer, fuller. And the nervous system settles again. The mind is no longer driving. It's following at a distance. Soon it won't follow at all. There's nothing to anticipate, nothing to prepare for. The next shift arrives without warning. Staying here requires nothing. And that's why it holds. The body no longer waits for confirmation. It moves into quieter states on its own. Momentum has shifted downward. The mind notices this only faintly now. Awareness is less pointed. Edges soften without effort. Thoughts don't line up anymore. They arrive sideways. Partial, unfinished, already fading. There's less interest in understanding them. Understanding takes energy. Energy is being conserved. A subtle heaviness spreads across the chest. Not pressure weight. The kind that signals safety. The breath has slowed further. Not deliberately. Simply because nothing is pushing it. Inhale, exhale, deeper, longer. And after that, a wider pause. The body recognizes this space. The heartbeat evens out here. A quiet steadiness moves through the chest. Everything inside slows in response. External awareness dims slightly. Sounds lose definition. Internal monitoring fades with them. You may notice a drifting sensation, as if attention is no longer anchored. That's expected here. When the mind tries to refocus, it slips. Grip strength is gone. Thoughts don't hold shape. This is not losing control. This is control becoming unnecessary. The system prefers it this way. There may be a brief sense of falling inward, then a gentle return, then a deeper drop. That rise and fall continues once or twice. Each cycle less noticeable, each drop more complete. Another breath moves through. Inhale, exhale, extended, effortless. And the body settles again. Lower now. Muscle tone reduces further. Not all at once, layer by layer. Small releases accumulate. The face softens. Micro expressions disappear. There's nothing to react to. The tongue rests without tension. Jaw weight increases slightly. Signals continue downward. Thinking has become background noise. Barely audible. No longer central. When a thought appears, it dissolves before finishing. The brain abandons it mid-process. That abandonment saves energy. Time sense begins to blur. Sequences lose order. Moments stretch without meaning. There's no need to track where this is going. Tracking would re-engage effort. Effort is offline. Breathing remains slow and steady. Each breath feels softer than the last. Calm deepens without effort. Another breath completes itself. Inhale, exhale, slower than before. And again, that quiet settling, almost heavy, almost floating. The nervous system recognizes this threshold. It knows what comes next. The mind doesn't need to. Awareness narrows now. Not focused, reduced. Less surface, more depth. The sense of watching fades. Experience happens without commentary. That's a key shift. There may be a brief flicker of alertness, a check-in. It passes quickly. Each return is softer, less complete. Soon there's no return at all. Another breath cycle flows through. Inhale, exhale, long, unforced. And the system settles deeper again. Thoughts are now fragments, single impressions without narrative. They fade almost immediately. The body feels supported everywhere. No points of effort. No need to adjust. This is the deep drift you recognize. Not sleep yet, but close. A state your system remembers how to enter. There's nothing to do here. Nothing to hold. The next descent happens without notice. Awareness continues to narrow without effort. Not focused, reduced. Less surface activity now. The mind is no longer leading. It drifts behind sensation. Sometimes it disappears entirely. There's a muted quality to everything. Edges softened. Transitions less distinct. Thoughts don't arrive as sentences anymore. They appear as brief impressions, then dissolve before meaning forms. This is where monitoring fades. Checking stops happening. The system trusts the direction it's moving. Breath continues steadily. Not shallow, just quiet. Movement minimal and efficient. Inhale, exhale, longer, heavier, and a broad settling afterward. The kind that spreads. Muscle tone reduces another layer. Small holding patterns release. Nothing collapses. Everything eases. The shoulders no longer signal readiness. The neck no longer supports alertness. Weight transfers fully downward. Internal dialogue is now distant, almost unrecognizable. Sound without content. When a thought tries to form, it stalls, halfway through, then drops away. This incomplete processing is deliberate. The brain is conserving energy. Efficiency has replaced analysis. There may be a brief upward flicker now, a lightness, then a deeper drop follows. That rise is fractionation. It doesn't interrupt progress. It deepens what comes after. Another breath completes itself. Inhale, exhale, extended, unhurried. And the body settles again, lower than before. Circulation redistributes. Hands and feet may feel warmer. Core steadies. The chest feels steady and quiet. The heartbeat moves smoothly. Nothing inside is asking for attention. External sounds feel farther away, as if filtered. Relevance continues to drop. There's less sense of position now, less awareness of edges. Support is assumed. The face is completely at rest. No expression held. No readiness left. Jaw weight increases slightly. Tongue rests without placement. Signals continue downward. Time sense blurs further. Order dissolves. Moments stretch without sequence. This is not disorientation. It's reduced tracking. The system doesn't need timestamps. Breathing remains slow and regular. Each breath feels softer, quieter. Calm spreads without effort. Inhale, exhale, slower still. And again, a wide pause. No urgency returns. The mind may briefly notice absence, then forget to notice. That forgetting is important. Awareness now feels diffuse, spread thin, hard to locate. There's no central point of attention. Experience happens without a center. That reduces effort completely. Another small rise may occur, almost like surfacing. It passes quickly. The drop afterward goes deeper, more complete, less noticeable. Breath continues to guide the descent. Inhale, exhale, long, effortless. And the system settles again. Thought fragments now barely register. They pass without recognition. The brain no longer assigns importance. There's a dull heaviness through the torso. Comfortable, stabilizing. Nothing pulls upward anymore. No mental reach. No checking behavior. The state holds itself. No maintenance required. That's why it deepens. Awareness continues to thin. Language loses relevance. Meaning fades before words form. This is the deep drift settling in. A state your system already recognizes. Sleep approaches quietly from here. Staying here requires nothing. And nothing is exactly what's happening. The system has moved past effort entirely now. What remains is quiet momentum. Slow, steady, downward. Awareness is faint. Not gone, just no longer sharp. Edges dissolve before they're noticed. There's less distinction between one moment and the next. Transitions blur. Nothing marks beginnings or endings. The mind doesn't organize anymore. It doesn't attempt to interpret. Interpretation requires clarity. Clarity is no longer necessary. The system prefers softness here. Precision powers down. Breathing continues quietly, barely perceptible, still effective. Inhale, exhale, slow, extended, and a long settling afterward, almost suspended. The chest rises less now. Movement feels softer, lower. Breathing becomes almost imperceptible. Heart rhythm remains even. No spikes, no alerts. The nervous system reads this as deep safety. No scanning, no readiness. Thoughts no longer present themselves. Occasionally, a fragment passes through. It leaves no trace. When the mind reaches for something, it forgets what it was reaching for. That forgetting completes the loop. There's a heavy stillness now. Not pressure, just full support. Muscles remain loose. No background tension returns. The body recognizes this state immediately. The sense of being here softens. Location becomes vague. Orientation unnecessary. Sound may still exist, but it doesn't register as information. It passes through without meaning. Breathing remains the anchor, not attended to, just happening. Inhale, exhale, slower, deeper. And the body settles again. Lower still. This is where identity begins to loosen. Not actively, It simply fades from relevance. There's less sense of I here, more experience without ownership. That shift reduces effort completely. Nothing needs to be remembered. Nothing needs to be prepared. Future processing is offline. The mind moves into a quieter state. Only what's necessary remains awake. Everything else softens into rest. A brief flicker of awareness may appear, almost like noticing absence. It disappears immediately. Each return is weaker, less defined. Soon there are no returns. Breathing continues its slow cycle. Inhale, exhale, long, unforced. And again, that deep settling, nearly weightless, nearly asleep. The boundary between waking and sleeping thins. There's no clear line, just gradual fading. Language no longer lands. Words lose shape. Meaning dissolves first. This is where drift becomes dominant. Sleep begins quietly. Without instruction, the system recognizes the threshold. Crossing happens naturally. Nothing signals it. Breath remains steady. Heart remains calm. The body holds the descent. There's no need to stay aware. Awareness fades on its own. That fading is already underway. Everything that needed to settle has settled. Everything else follows. The next phase arrives without noticing, and it carries you the rest of the way. Awareness is barely present now, not absent, diffused, spread thin enough that it no longer gathers itself. There's no clear edge to experience, no center holding things together, just quiet continuity. The body remains deeply settled, weight fully given over, nothing held back. Breathing continues at its own pace. Small movements, barely noticeable. Inhale, exhale, slow, extended, complete. And the long pause afterward, where nothing resumes. The nervous system stays in this low output state easily now. No effort required to maintain it. It maintains itself. Thoughts are no longer distinguishable. If something passes through, it has no shape, no words, no direction. The sense of needing to be someone here softens. Not removed, just no longer relevant. There's less reference to me, less orientation around identity. Experience happens without labeling. That softening reduces the last traces of mental tension. Nothing left to protect, nothing left to manage. The body recognizes this as full permission. It deepens the descent automatically. Everything inside works together quietly. Muscles remain loose and unresponsive. No reflexive tightening. No readiness patterns. The face stays completely neutral. No expression forming. No micro adjustments. Breathing stays slow and regular. Each breath feels softer than the last. Calm holds steadily. Inhale, exhale, longer still. And the body settles again, even deeper. There's a sense of drifting without movement. Not floating, just unanchored. Time has little meaning here. Sequence doesn't organize itself. Moments blend together. Awareness fades in waves, each one lasting longer, each return weaker. When awareness does appear, it doesn't attach to anything. It slips away immediately. The mind no longer attempts to follow. Following requires structure. Structure has dissolved. The body feels uniformly supported. No points of pressure stand out. Everything feels even. Sound, if present, is no longer processed. It passes without registering as information. Relevance is gone. The internal sense of position fades further. There's no need to locate yourself. Location doesn't matter. Another breath cycle moves through. Inhale, exhale, slow, quiet. And the familiar settling afterward, a state the body recognizes immediately. This is where sleep begins to take over fully, not suddenly, gradually, without a clear boundary. The remaining sense of self softens further. No story attached, no role to maintain, just experience, thinning, then thinning again, then barely there. The nervous system stays quiet and steady, heart rhythm smooth, breath unforced. There's nothing left to wait for, nothing to monitor, nothing to anticipate. The body has already chosen rest. The mind is no longer consulted. That choice holds. Awareness flickers one last time, very faint, then slips away. Breathing continues. Inhale, exhale, long, effortless. And the descent completes itself, without notice, without commentary. Sleep carries the rest of the way. No transition felt, no moment marked. Everything stays calm, everything stays quiet, and nothing needs to return. There is very little awareness now. Not darkness, just absence of detail. Nothing asking to be noticed. The body remains fully surrendered to support. No corrections, no adjustments. Breathing continues quietly, almost imperceptible, still steady. Inhale, exhale, slow, complete. And a long, unbroken settling, where nothing resumes. The nervous system stays in low demand. Signals travel slowly. Only essentials remain active. Thought is no longer present as thought. There are no words, no images, no direction. If awareness appears, it has no object, nothing to land on. It dissolves immediately. The sense of identity continues to thin. No personal reference, no boundary to maintain. This soft absence reduces the last traces of tension. Nothing left to define, nothing left to protect. The body responds by deepening rest further. Muscle tone remains minimal. Reflexes stay quiet. Breath stays steady. Each breath feels effortless. Calm holds itself. Inhale, exhale, long, effortless. And again, that deep settling, even more complete. There is no monitoring now, no checking, no internal commentary. Time sense has dissolved. Sequence has no meaning. Moments no longer stack. The mind does not attempt to return. There is no pathway back. Not needed. Sound, if present, does not register. Touch, if present, does not define edges. Everything is generalized. This state holds steadily through the night. The body maintains it without effort. Nothing interferes. Another breath cycle completes itself. Inhale, exhale, slow, full. And the system remains settled. No rise follows. Awareness is now intermittent and faint. It does not gather itself. It fades faster each time. The internal environment stays quiet and stable. Heart rhythm smooth. Breath consistent. There is no sense of location, no sense of position, only rest. The system continues its natural overnight rhythm. Deep rest, quiet restoration, no effort required. Nothing new enters awareness. Nothing old returns. The state is self-sustaining. Breathing continues. Inhale, exhale, long, unforced. And everything remains exactly as it should be. No interruption, no demand. Sleep deepens without being noticed, without any signal, without any edge. The body stays here easily. The mind does not participate. Rest continues uninterrupted. There is no effort anywhere now, no place where holding remains. Everything is already let go. Awareness appears only as faint presence, not observing, not interpreting, simply there, then gone. The body remains completely settled, weight fully distributed, support unquestioned. Breathing continues quietly in the background. Minimal movement, almost no sensation. Inhale, exhale, long, complete. And a deep, uninterrupted settling afterward. Nothing follows it. The system remains deeply at rest. No scanning, no alert signals. There are no thoughts now, not even fragments. The space where they would form is inactive. Identity has no function here. No reference point remains. Experience happens without ownership. This absence is not noticed, not questioned. It simply holds. Muscles remain loose and unresponsive. No reflexive tightening, no micro adjustments. The face stays neutral. No expression forms. Nothing reacts. Breath rhythm remains slow and steady. Each breath feels softer than the last. Calm holds completely. Inhale, exhale, slow, effortless. And the body settles again, deeper without transition. There is no tracking of time, no sense of sequence. Moments do not separate. Sound, if present, does not enter awareness. Touch does not define boundaries. Everything is generalized and dim. This state remains fully in place. Sleep holds without effort. Nothing disrupts it. Awareness fades almost entirely. When it appears, it dissolves immediately. No attachment forms. The internal environment stays stable. Heart rhythm smooth. Breath consistent. Another breath completes itself. Inhale, exhale, long, quiet. And everything remains settled. No rise follows. There is no expectation of anything next. No anticipation. No readiness. The body continues its natural overnight rhythm. Deep rest continues. Everything replenishes quietly. Nothing pulls awareness back. Nothing invites engagement. The state sustains itself. Breathing continues without notice. Inhale, exhale, slow, complete. And rest deepens further, without marker, without awareness. Everything remains quiet. Everything remains still. Sleep holds fully now. There is almost no awareness left now. Not fading, already thinned beyond notice. Nothing gathers itself anymore. The body remains completely at rest. No signal asks for response. No system requests attention. Breathing continues quietly, soft and gentle, completely natural. Inhale, exhale, long, effortless, and the deep stillness afterward, unbroken. This state remains fully in place. Sleep holds without effort. Nothing interrupts it. There are no thoughts now, no fragments, no impressions. The space where they would form is completely still. Identity has dissolved into irrelevance. No sense of self remains active. Nothing needs to be maintained. This absence does not feel empty. It feels complete. Nothing missing. Muscle tone remains minimal everywhere. No readiness patterns. No reflexive tension. The face stays entirely neutral. No movement. No expression. Breathing stays slow and even. Each breath feels effortless. Calm remains steady. Inhale, exhale, long, quiet. And nothing changes afterward. Nothing resumes. There is no sense of time passing. No sequence. No before or after. Sound does not enter awareness. Touch does not form edges. All sensory input is filtered out. The body continues its natural overnight rhythm. Deep rest. Quiet restoration. No effort required. Awareness, if it flickers, dissolves immediately. It cannot anchor to anything. It does not persist. The state is now fully self-sustaining. Nothing pulls upward. Nothing reactivates. Another breath completes itself. Inhale, exhale, slow, complete. And the system remains settled. No rise follows. There is no anticipation of waking, no monitoring of depth, no internal commentary. The system holds steady through the night. Heart rhythm smooth, breath consistent. Nothing new enters experience. Nothing old returns. Everything stays quiet. Breathing continues without notice. Inhale, exhale, long, effortless. And sleep remains uninterrupted. Deep, stable. There is nothing left to do. Nothing left to be aware of. Rest continues on its own. Everything remains settled now. No fluctuation. No return of awareness. The body stays fully surrendered to rest. Support is complete. Nothing adjusts. Breathing continues quietly in the background. Minimal movement. Almost no sensation. Inhale, exhale, long, effortless. And the deep stillness afterward, unbroken. The system remains deeply settled through the night. No scanning, no alertness, only quiet rest. There are no thoughts, no impressions, no internal dialogue. The space where they would form stays completely still. Identity does not return. There is no reference point, nothing to locate. This state holds itself easily. No effort required. No awareness needed. Muscle tone remains minimal everywhere. No reflexive tightening. No readiness patterns. The face remains neutral and still. No expression forms. Nothing reacts. Breathing stays slow and even. Each breath feels effortless. Calm remains steady. Inhale, exhale, slow, complete. And nothing follows. No rise, no check-in. There is no sense of time, no sequence, no boundary between moments. Sound does not enter awareness. Touch does not define edges. All sensory input stays filtered out. The body continues its natural overnight rhythm. Deep rest continues. Everything replenishes quietly. Awareness does not gather itself again. If it flickers, it dissolves instantly. No attachment forms. The state remains stable and uninterrupted. Nothing competes with it. Nothing disrupts it. Another breath completes itself. Inhale, exhale, long, quiet, and everything stays exactly as it is. Deeply settled, fully at rest. Sleep continues without interruption, without markers, without awareness. Nothing needs to return. Nothing needs to change. Rest holds through the night.